This is what propels me to go forward as a farmer. It's about protecting this large capital asset to try and ensure that it's beneficial and that it's productive for future generations, regardless if they're my kids or they're somebody else's kids. Immediately what you see is, and what you hear the bugs. That's the first thing you hear. The other thing we hear obviously is the birds. And that's something as most farmers, we don't give a minute's consideration for. This soil's really nice and mellow here. And you can feel it right on cue, and just as soon as you open it up, it just smells gorgeous. So this field is part of a pasture area, a grazing area essentially, that I'm trying to utilize cover crops. A cover crop is there to protect the soil, to feed soil biology. We're protecting it from wind, water, and solar erosion. We're using the cover crop in lieu of tillage. Every time we do tillage, we're disrupting the soil flora and fauna, the fungi, the bacteria, things like that thrive and flourish in our soil environment. Why I get so excited by this system, it shows again that nature is filling the voids. There's more living organisms in a teaspoon of soil than there are people in the earth. Our soils are a collection of living, breathing organisms, right? They're not just merely dirt. And I don't know. For me, this is what I do. This is what drives me. This is what propels me to go forward as a farmer. Traditionally, in our cover crop approach, we use a machinery tool approach, right? Like every farmer will use an air seeder. In this case here, because this was already a semi-established area that I've been grazing in the past, I had some more seed. I just blended the seed up that I had and I just applied it with a fertilizer spreader, broadcast it on the surface. So here's a little sample of seed we've got. And this is typically what I would normally plant for my cover crop blends. And so in here, there's probably about 18 different species. That big brown seed is faba beans, it's a legume. Those little black round seeds, those are hairy vetch. The soil was not developed with monocultures. It was developed with a collection of living plants. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stimulate the soil to think back to how it was originally covered with an abundant array of diversity. The roots release those exudates, those simple sugars, to feed the microorganisms that live and reside in the soil.
Agriculture producers across Canada, by using an agriculture system called regenerative agriculture, are helping to address the social and environmental crises we face, and they're producing healthy and delicious food at the same time.
This corn here is all non-GMO corn, and we're growing this corn here. We're using less nitrogen fertilizer. We can see that we're losing some leaves on the bottom. That's what that yellow leaf is, a little firing action as we're sort of just past pollination now. We can see down below, this was planted into a big green cover crop, and the majority of the wheat residue is gone. We see a little bit of lignified straw here on the surface. So a lot of farmers get transfixed on doing tillage after winter wheat harvest because they think, well, how does the residue all going to decompose? The soil is so biologically active that we don't need to do tillage, right? We can allow the earthworms, the fungi, the bacteria to do their work. The soil now is allowing nitrogen to come into the corn system through its own biological process. So for us, that's a positive, right? I'm spending less money on fertilizer. And that directly goes to my bottom line in a savings. So I'm not transfixed on maximizing physical bushels. I'm transfixed on maximizing financial yield. So tiling is the installation of pipe, essentially, subsurface pipe. The purpose of tile is to remove water, obviously, but also to provide aeration into the soil. The tile drainage, in conjunction with the methodology of no-till, is being vilified as being the culprit as it pertains to phosphorus leaving the agricultural field landscape and ending up in the lake. So right here, we have an edge of field monitoring equipment. We're monitoring the volume of water that falls here on the field throughout 12 months of the year. But we're also comparing a conventional system with a full tillage regime. And we're just comparing what is the impact that these management systems may or may not have on the environment. No-till is not a beneficial practice. That was the outset, okay? And I as an ardent supporter, practitioner of no-till farming practices, know how false that is. Because in our management system, by using not only no-till, the reduction of tillage, but also by having living roots there to bring up available nutrients that are released as the previous crop decays, we can mitigate the risk significantly. That pertains to what leaves the farming landscape with dissolved phosphorus and nitrogen ending up in our freshwater resources.
So this is about water?
This is 100% about water. This is 100% related to soil management and what impact does it have on the water in which all of us in society benefit from and utilize on a daily basis. I'm standing here on one of my fields that we've essentially taken out of production, as some might suggest, and what we've created is a tall grass prairie. And so it's about the ecosystem services, right? That's what we're trying to benefit. The pollinators, the insects, the prairie type birds that prefer this environment. Society is coveting that we plant trees because we want to use the trees to sequester CO2, but in all actuality, this prairie system has the capacity to sequester even more carbon than a forest. I know what I'm doing is right. I've tried to lead by example, and I hope that others could have some courage to contemplate change and implement things like this on their own farm.
The water is warm. Let's dip our toes right in and be reborn. I don't know why we wait.
This is a practice that more people could possibly implement without a lot of capital expenditure. There's the fear of being ridiculed at the places that we visit, whether it's church, whether it's the coffee shop. So our circle of friends dictates sort of some of the decisions that we make on our farm because we don't want to be ostracized from our peer group.
How come you're free of that?
I don't know. As some might call me the unicorn, I'm a little strange perhaps.